There's a lot of podcasts out there, but this one, you never know what to expect. Feel all the emotions with your host, Mercedes Rich, and every surprise guest. Now it's time. And the artist is...
Awesome. So why don't you just start off by telling me your story? How'd you get involved in music and how did God place music in your life?
Oh man, we could probably talk about that for about 8 days. I'm a PK. I'm a pastor's kid.
Okay.
And hated it growing up. Just over the years that I got made fun of, but it also came with crazy, amazing benefits. Obviously, I would not be here today if it was not for my father and my mother being amazing, godly, Christ-centered home, Christian family, and really not in a weird way. They were just so amazing. The most amazing man of God, woman of God that I know. They're still my parents. And so I'm grateful for that. Grew up in the church. I thought the guitar player was really cool in the band. I wanted to be like him. And so I made my dad teach me a few chords. And it kind of all started there around 12 or 13, got my first guitar. And then, much like other people's stories, people begged me to sing. Couldn't sing well, but maybe I could just barely carry a tune. And after people kept asking me over and over again, I finally tried it. First time I ever sang, hated it, said I'll never do it again.
Whoa.
People begged me over and over again to do it. They needed somebody. It's not because I was good. Let's be honest. They just needed somebody to do it. And then shortly after that, honestly, I fell in love with it. And there was this moment where I remember from the stage feeling like, I think this is why God created me, or this is what he has for me while I'm here on this earth. I believe I'm supposed to do this with my life.
Yeah.
And quickly after that, I looking up to guys like Phil Wickham, I was like, man, I want to write songs like that. And so I'd sit in my bedroom for hours trying to write songs that sounded like Phil Wickham, and Chris Tomlin and Joel Houston. And so after imitating for so long, I finally was able to innovate myself and create my own songs. And then over years of just serving the church and writing songs for whatever church I was a part of, and then stepping into writing records for myself, I'm here. I've collaborated with so many different people over the past few years, and that has been the honor of a lifetime. And so I'll never stop collaborating. So I am Maverick City Music. I love doing stuff with Elevation as well. All different artists all over the place, but I'm also really excited about releasing music under Brandon Lake and whatever in the season that God has put on my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can speak for myself and everyone else I know that loves Maverick City and loves what you do, that I'm so excited for Brandon Lake's music, because who God has created Brandon Lake to be. So that's really powerful, and I'm really excited to hear it. So
thank you.
Absolutely. So you already told me a little bit about your musical influences. Do you have like a specific moment in your life where like you just think about it and you know that God was like really working in that moment?
Wow. Yeah, I'll share this story at an early age. If I could encourage anybody who ends up hearing this, it would be, things don't always have to be perfect, and they certainly don't have to be mind-blowingly amazing for God to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first times I ever led on the platform, I had to sing this song that was extremely vulnerable, not just in the moment where it was just me in an acoustic, but like the key of the song, had the way the melody went. And I'm going through puberty still. And so like my voice is cracking, and I lead this song and it's just me. There's probably 1,300 people in the room at my church. One of my first weekends, like really leading and stepping out as a new vocalist on the team and leader on the team. And my voice cracks through the whole song. And I give it my best shot, and it was horrible. I came off the stage and I am like, I don't know that I could ever step on the platform again. I'm done. That was so embarrassing. And the first time this has ever happened, and it's happened since, but somebody came up to me, this older gentleman in the back of the room. He said, son, I've been going to this church for many years, He goes, I have never felt the presence of God like I felt when you led that song.
Wow.
And here I am, whining about, oh, I ruined the song and God will never use me again. And da da da. And this man comes up to me, and I had never had anybody come up to me like this before. And this was young in leading worship, but he came up to me and said, like, I never felt the presence of God. And so it's just proof that like God wants to work in your weakness. Like he wants to use, and I think any yes to God, whether it's excellent or it's not, obviously we want it to be excellent because we're doing it unto him. But even when it's like not great, God can still use it. And that's how powerful the Spirit of God is.
Yeah, absolutely. He makes beautiful things out of our messes, which is absolutely wonderful. So I think that story is great. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you say the difference is between, when you're a worship pastor, because I know you're worship pastor at a church, what's the difference between that and whenever you're on tour or at concert? Do you feel a difference like in the dynamic shift or?
In my responsibility of what I'm called to do, absolutely not. I think that the only difference is, one of the differences are the privilege I get at home is to be involved in those people's lives a little bit more intimately. When I'm at home leading with my team, I think that there's a greater opportunity to really shepherd people off the platform.
Yeah.
We don't get the privilege of or the time to do that on tour, and so it's a very quick thing in and out, and that can be challenging. But what we're called to do on the platform is no different. Tonight, I'm here in Boston with Elevation Worship, and guest leading with them, and they've become like family to me, and it's been so beautiful. Every night's been so powerful. I'm leading no differently tonight than I ever am with Maverick City Music or at home at Seacoast Church. My goal is to get out of the way, usher people into the presence of God, and I do the same thing at home. Unfortunately, we just have to leave at one in the morning and go to another city. But I think that the goal remains the same. We lead people to the presence of God where God does the work, and we do that at home as well.
Yeah, well, I think that's what makes the difference in concerts. When concerts are more about the stage presence, and when it's more about just like having fun, you don't necessarily feel that. But when it's more about God and 100% focused on him, so it is the same dynamic, the audience can definitely see.
Yeah.
So is there a specific verse or something specific that God's teaching you right now in this season of life?
Well, I would say, the verse that has been really fun for me to dwell on has been, and it's a really weird one, but I don't know why it's been sticking out to me. Maybe because I've been in this season of like really hustling, and not neglecting the Sabbath by any means, but like just really trying to work hard. And it says, Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. He devours in the morning, or it says he devours in the morning and divides the spoils at night. And I heard TD Jakes talk about this verse, and he talks about how he kind of compares it to your younger years of life and older years of life. And he said, if you don't attack in your younger years, you're not going to have anything to divide. If you don't devour in your younger years, you're not going to have anything to divide and pass on in your later years. And there's two things that come to mind. How hard I'm working right now and the things I'm choosing to do, and not be lazy, but to give God my everything, right? There's a great opportunity though that I can set up my family for generations to come, not only financially, but with faith. Like I want one day my faith and the things I'm choosing to do, I want my faith to become like my kids' own faith. There's going to be a time where like they're going to see what I'm doing, and they're going to have to probably borrow my faith, just like I had the faith of my parents until my faith became my own. And I want to be somebody that that is able to pass things on. And I don't want to wait till I'm old to pass those things on. I want to be a leader that develops other leaders in my family, outside my family, in the church. And so I feel like that's the verse that's been sticking out to me. It's kind of a weird one, but if that's my honest answer, that's what God's been kind of showing me is if you want to have a life, that your second half of life, if you want to have something to divide, then it takes hard work now. And so that's the season I'm in. I'm trying to do everything that I can to reach people for Christ, and to give everything that God's giving me, like give it away and be a blessing.
Yeah, well, and that's what it all comes down to, is sharing the gospel of Christ. So I think that's great. I've definitely never got that deep out of that verse. So definitely a perspective that I appreciate for sure.
Of course. You didn't probably see that one coming. Yeah.
I did not, but I appreciate it. So I've got about 2 questions left. So my next one is one that I ask everyone that I like to talk to. So I just love hearing the creative aspects of different artists. So what is your favorite movie, or if you don't watch movies, TV show?
Well, my favorite TV show is The Office, hands down. I quote it daily. Man, I don't know that I have a favorite movie, but I feel like the answer that I always come back to is Braveheart.
Okay.
Which kind of ties into my new record, Help, because there's a song called Let My People Go. And it's all about freedom, declaring freedom. Wow. And man, movies like that just get me so fired up when someone takes charge and it's like, I'm not having it, like, let my people go. And so I love, and when you're done leading worship, sometimes all you want to do is just watch a violent movie. Let's be honest. I'm human, and after you've been just poured yourself out, sometimes, like my pastor says that, he's like, all I want to do is just go watch like a violent movie, and I can relate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate that answer, and I know my family does, because I love Braveheart and I grew up watching that movie. So great answer.
Same.
I also have plenty of friends who watch The Office. I've watched a little bit, so I can appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, me and my wife are officially obsessed.
Gotcha. All right, so my last question is just, how can me and anyone who is watching this pray for you in your ministry, and how can they also listen to your music?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm on every platform other than TikTok, probably. So you can find all my music on Spotify, iTunes, under Brandon Lake. And I have a new record coming out called Help, and it's all geared towards mental health, and something that I've got a taste of over the past few years. As I've experienced a lot of mountaintop moments, it came with a lot of valleys mentally, and I've had to gain new tools and how to combat the lies of the enemy and believe the truths of God, and to quickly get back into the presence of God, which is the most beautiful remedy and healing. So I want that for other people. So if you would just pray for me that that this record would find the right people that need it. Everyone from the stay-at-home mom who's like wanting to give up, and here's the song, don't you give up on me. And I pictured some of these songs I was writing them, people choosing to not take their own life, but choosing life. And mental health awareness, man, it's so important. And so I just pray that this record really does make a difference, and that people would be able to say, days, months, or years from now, I might be alive because of these songs and the hope that they gave me, and they kept me going on. So pray you could pray that for this record.
Absolutely. Well, that's at the top of my prayer list for you.